Tonight, a crack in a 30-year-old cold case from Pacific Beach. It comes as a man accused of stabbing another man to death faced a judge for the first time today. News 8's Alex Cheney was at today's arraignment as Jeffrey Brandenburg pleaded not guilty. Alex, tell us what evidence came to light for this arrest.
Well, that was Stephanie, that was the very first thing that I asked the deputy district attorney today. What exactly happened after nearly 32 years to make an arrest? Well, he said that some of the evidence that they actually still had from 1994, they were able to rerun it through new DNA technology. And so it was able to pick up on Jeffrey Brandenburg, as you just said, on several pieces of that evidence from that murder, from that stabbing death on January 2nd, 2004. So it was a joint investigation between SDPD and the FBI. They made that arrest on Friday. Now, that gentleman, Jeffrey Brandenburg, was actually living up in Northern California. He was a homeless man, and so they were able to arrest him, bring him back down to San Diego. So really, it was just the same evidence they had before. New technology, of course, 32 years later, the tech is going to be better, and so they were able to identify his DNA on that evidence. Stephanie.
What else did police say happened the night of the murder, Alex?
Well, they went into a little bit more detail in the courtroom today. The deputy district attorney did. He said that, of course, both of them were at Tourmaline Beach that night. Initially, they were strangers, and then some sort of altercation, some argument, some sort of incident happened that ended up resulting in that stabbing. Now, the story goes that actually the victim here was actually able to get up, get into his car, and then drive away before eventually bleeding out on the porch of a home. And they had an investigation that happened back in 1994. However, it was inconclusive, and now we are seeing perhaps that investigation come to a head here, Stephanie.
Okay, so was Brandenburg released? Where is he right now?
So the deputy district attorney, what they tried to do is they asked the judge for a $2 million bail or for Brandenburg to be held without bail. The judge, however, disagreed. They agreed to let Brandenburg go on his own recognizance. Now, as I said earlier, he is homeless, so he's actually going to be staying in homeless shelters in San Diego for the meantime. However, he was let go, but with several things, conditions he's going to have to do while he is out on his own recognizance. First, not allowed to have a knife, any sort of weapons. He's going to have a GPS tracker on him, so he's not going to be allowed to leave San Diego County at all without the permission from the court and from the judge, and he's not allowed to take any illegal drugs. So we're going to see how this goes. He's going to be back in court for his preliminary hearing on July 28th, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you, Alex, for that update.